good day, and welcome to the Trash Picture Show. Yesterday, I went with my dad to Ballinasloe, and if you're ever visiting Ireland, check the place out. It's a gorgeous town, and it has some absolutely wonderful shops. And one of the shops it had was this really nice Toy Master. It was kind of a Toy Master slash newsagents, but they had a nice selection of toys, and one of the selections they had was the retro style TMNT figures. And yeah, I had to pick myself up one, and the figure I picked up was this foot soldier. Yes, the iconic henchman of the Shredder. If you grew up watching TMNT, you know who these guys are. These are essentially the ninja henchmen of Shredder. And yeah, Easterman and Laird became inspired by Marvel Comics. Like with the character of Splinter being named after Stick, these guys are an homage to the villains in Daredevil, the Hand, who are an evil group of ninjas. So Easterman and Laird decided to name their evil clan of ninjas the Foot. And in the movie and the other interpretations, for the most part, they're humans. But for the 80s animated series, they were robots. That was a way they could skirt around the TV violence. They could chop them up, they could bash them up. It didn't matter because they weren't human. And yeah, it does take from the threat of these guys, because if you watch the cartoon and you kind of look at these guys, they're more like the augurs from Night Trap than actual ninjas. They're kind of hunched over and slow moving and really fucking stupid. But the design is cool. There is something rather creepy about the design of these guys. And yeah, I thought they were cool bad guys. I never had this figure as a kid. I had other ones, but I had always wanted to get a foot soldier so my turtles could fight multiple waves of bad guys. But yeah, I never got to pick them up. But yeah, guys, that's enough about the characters of the foot soldiers. Let's get to the figure itself. So again, you have really nice retro packaging. The style is really cool. The artwork is very reminiscent of the original art style of the bubble packaging. Flip it to the back here and you have a comic strip, and I'll just hold it there so you can read it. And it gives the origin of the turtles, and it shows the figures in this wave. And yeah, I have actually the Michelangelo figure from this wave. I had a chance to pick up Splinter. I should have picked up Splinter as well as this guy. And here is the bad guys in this wave. You have Shredder, Cran, Leatherhead, who I have the original version of, Bebop, Rocksteady, and a foot soldier. And there is a kind of cutout and keep card. Portrait of a foot soldier. Shredder's right hand mummy. You know you had a good figure when it had this special file card that you had to cut out and keep. But yeah, guys, I'm going to have to cut this guy out of the packaging, sadly. But don't go anywhere. I shall be right back.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will return after these messages.
And we are back, and there is my foot soldier out of the packaging. So before we look at these accessories, let's have a look at the figure. I am really liking the sculpting. Of course, the design hasn't changed since the original. It's still Playmates that are producing these figures. I know a lot of other companies have inherited other properties and gotten updated versions of the mold, but I think 99.9% of this mold is the same as the original that came out back in the day. But yeah, really nice paint scheme. Again, the whole hunched over thing. It's a bit weird. But yeah, Playmates were great at designing these. The figures had so much personality and character. And it wasn't just the TMNT figures. Toxic Crusaders, Playmates done them as well, and they were fucking fantastic. And if I'm not mistaken, they done the Dick Tracy line as well. And they had a very hunched over kind of squatted pose, which I will say is one of the downsides to these figures, because they are very much pre-posed figures. You can't do too much with them. So articulation wise, there's articulation in the shoulders, but it's restricted by these kind of shoulder guards here. There is some movement in the legs, but just at the hips. There's this swivel joint at the elbows, but that's it. But as I said before, this is essentially the exact same sculpt, mold and design of the original Playmates version that came out back in the day. Again, he's got that kind of hunched over squat kind of position. I think nowadays we're spoiled for choice when it comes to articulation and the like. But still, back in the day, we didn't care that they were pre-posed. A lot of figures, be it Masters of the Universe or Ghostbusters, there was just 5 POA. It was the shoulders and the hips and the head, and that's all you could move. Hell, Turtles was even a bit ahead of its time with the rotation at the elbows. I don't know why these guys just remind me of the fucking augurs from Night Trap. Just the way they're hunched. But yeah, that's enough about the figure. Let's have a look at the accessories. Like all classic TMNT figures, they came on this kind of weapon rack design. And I am going to take them off because they look like they're going to break off anyway. So first off, we have this kind of mace. And I think it's described as a shock mace. So there's maybe some kind of electrical charge off the ball at the top here. And yeah, it fits into our foot soldier's hand really easily there. You'll notice there's still a sprue stuck onto the side. I'll snip that off with scissors. But yeah, just have a closer look at the design there. Nice work on the handle as well. It's pretty cool. The other weapon that comes on this is this. And it's apparently a turtle grabber. So, I'll just have a look here. And yeah, it's got a jaws here. Kind of clamp. And another kind of mace end. And a strap that you can put over his shoulder. Or put around him if you want. So, fits on like that. Just take it off again and we'll have a better look. So yeah, again, that's a really nice design. Not overly complicated, but a lot of imagination. And the last weapon on the rack is this knife. And there's the knife. Not much detail on it though. But still, does the job. Fits into his hand as well. Nice and easy. Now I don't know why, guys. It could be Mandela effect on my part. But I always thought these guys came with a laser pistol. Maybe I'm wrong. It could have been another version as well, because I know there's different versions of Splinter. And there was different versions of Shredder. Some of them had vastly different designs. So it may not have been this version. But yeah. Again, really cool figure. I know limited in the articulation. But still, it's a cool design. And it really kind of captured the look of the cartoon. Not exactly like the cartoon. That was the interesting thing. For a finish, Laird actually gave commissions to people who designed new characters, that if they designed a character for the cartoon and it was made into a figure, they got to keep all the action figure royalties, because Laird and Easterman had just fucking cleaned up at this stage, so they didn't mind. But yeah, he's pretty kick-ass. So yeah guys, I'm going to pause the video here, and when I come back, I'm going to compare this guy to some other Turtles figures in my collection. Don't go anywhere. I shall be right back.
We now return to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And we are back, and there is my foot soldier in my alleyway. So let's compare him to an actual vintage figure. And this is my vintage Donatello. I'm just going to put him next to him there. See how he scales up. So yeah, he's a wee bit bigger. But not too much. Even hunched, he's still that bit bigger, which is interesting. And so he doesn't feel too intimidated, I'm going to put a vintage bad guy next to him. My favorite bad guy, Leatherhead. And yeah, Leatherhead is that bit smaller because he's lower to the ground. But yeah, he works well. He works well with the vintage stuff. Again, Playmates kept the sculpt and kept the design like it was all those years ago. So they can be interchanged with the vintage stuff. It is one of those classic designs, and I think everyone had this action figure at one stage or another, except me. By the time these guys had become really cheap, I was all about dinosaurs and Jurassic Park, so I kind of got out of collecting turtles. Speaking of, so we can compare him to something that is closer in age to him. I'm going to put my retro style Michelangelo next to him. See how he scales up. And again, yeah, he's that bit taller. But still, it's a nice design. And it's a cool design. Regardless of articulation. Playmates always kicked arse. They made some outlandish fucking buck wild figures, but they looked badass. Be it these guys, be it Dick Tracy, be it Toxic Avengers, their stuff always kicked arse. But yeah, I'm glad I got him because he is the quintessential army builder from this line. Speaking of, guys, what was your favourite army builder figure back in the day? Was it the Foot Soldier? Was it Hordak's robots? Was it the Stormtroopers from the Star Wars line? Let me know what your favourite army builder type figure was in the comments below. And also, who was your favourite villain in TMNT? Be it the cartoon, be it the comics, be it any form of media. Who was your favourite villain? And don't say Shredder or Krang. Everyone says Shredder and Krang. Pick someone obscure. Pick someone like the Rat King or Leatherhead or Toka and Razor. Just someone you wouldn't necessarily think as a big TMNT villain. So yeah, guys, my name is Martin. This has been the Trash Picture Show, and yeah, have a good one. Take care. Bye now.